Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Friday, August 11th, and we've got some really nice weather. We got a chance of a few showers and thunderstorms about the area here during the morning and possibly into the early afternoon, especially across the eastern areas. And then we expect plenty of sunshine over the weekend. It'll be cooler with highs in the 70s, lows in the 50s, and that nice weather is going to carry right on into the early and middle part of next week, with temperatures climbing up close to 80 degrees as we get into early next week. And then I think we'll be in the 80s once we get into Tuesday all the way through the end of the week. In fact, looks like we're going to go into a pretty warm period, as you can see by the extended outlook, calling for now warmer than normal conditions as we begin to squeeze some of this cooler air out. And we're going to transition into a slightly wetter pattern as well. And again, so really a nice 7 days coming up. And for the Agro Expo, we can now take out the forecasted rain. We'll keep an eye on that. If that enters the picture, it would probably be a very low chance. But you can see temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s both days, maybe even closer to 84, 85 on Wednesday. Very nice weather coming up for the Agro Expo this year, so certainly much better than last. And if we look at the drought monitor for the last 3 weeks, you can see this area will continue to show lots of dryness, lots of drought conditions out there. And if we move it ahead, this was as of August 1st, and now the new one here as of August 8th continues to show pretty severe conditions out in portions of Montana and the Dakotas. And again, a little dryness showing up continuing for southern lower Michigan. And if we look at the change from last week to this week, you can see the green shows improving conditions by 1 standard deviation, and the yellow indicates where conditions have dried out a little bit more than by 1 level from the previous week, and the gray area showing where there's really been no change. And that's really pretty much the story across much of the area. Not a whole lot of change. The areas that are dry continue to be so. And if we look at the conditions around the area this morning, temperatures pretty uniform in the upper 50s to around 60. And you can see some of the areas picking up some rainfall here over the last 24 hours. And if we look at the soil conditions out there this morning, you can see the leaf wetness continues to show some wet vegetation across the area, thanks to rain here in the Breckenridge area and quite a bit of dew out there, as we see, again, soil conditions quite dry in the Thumb area and in southeast lower Michigan, where they could use some rain. And you can see some rain since midnight in some of the areas. If we look at the radar out there this morning, you can see area showers and thunderstorms. Continues to move across southeast lower Michigan, now heading into southwest Ontario, and that should put us over the 1/10 average on our 15 station averages for the forecast, which I had. And we can show the satellite out there this morning. You can see some of the cooler cloud tops indicating some showers and thunderstorms across southeast lower Michigan. Here's what's left over of hurricane, then tropical storm Franklin. As it reemerges across the Pacific, it may redevelop out there. You can see a little bit of a tropical disturbance here. Only about a 10% chance over the next 5 days that this would be named. And we're going to continue to watch 99L, which will most likely turn into a hurricane, but the latest forecasts now show it curving away and not affecting the U.S., but still plenty of time to watch that, as it certainly could change. But right now it looks like the threat has diminished for a landfall across the U.S. You can see that on the forecasted 5-day charts. And again, it'll continue to hook up to the northeast. But again, we'll have to watch. If it does take the southern track, it could certainly pose a threat to portions of the northern Carolinas into the mid-Atlantic states. But right now, that doesn't seem like the most likely bet. And if we look at the weather map this morning, you can see that cold front now encroaching on the state. And again, once this front's through, that should put an end to any showers and thunderstorm activity. So the best chance of more showers will be across the eastern areas into southwest Ontario. And then behind it, lots of nice weather coming in, with high pressure will settle in, dominate the region right on through the middle of next week, as most of the action will stay off to our west and to our south. And if we look at Sunday's weather map, again, high pressure system right over the Great Lakes on Sunday. And again, some of the colder locations could actually drop into the upper 40s here as we get into Sunday morning, but for the most part, we'll have 70s by day and 50s by night. If we look at that precipitation, so far as of about 6 this morning, 9/100ths of an inch is the 13 station average, and we're forecasting between a 1/10 and a 1/3, so we just need a little bit more on that average to be within the range. And we did pick up some rain across Tupperville this morning, and so those numbers will go up a little bit here. And if we look at the forecasted amounts over the next 24 hours, still another couple of tenths of an inch, especially across the eastern areas, I think most likely to see precipitation. And as far as the forecast goes, first of all, over the next 7 days, you can see only a couple of tenths of an inch. So really, whatever falls over the next 24 hours is probably going to be it. So most of this rainfall will be, again, out of here, and we'll have lots of sunshine all weekend into the middle of next week. Again, temperatures today will be in the mid-70s, around 80 in the 70s all weekend. We begin to warm up as we get into next Tuesday, and beyond that, I think we're going to see a lot of 80-degree weather and possibly some even hotter weather now moving in for the end of the month. Thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a great day, a great weekend, and 73s to all.